is known on YouTube as Mr. Anime, this self-styled film critic whose videos have been watched more than 1 million times. He is charged with gunning down his school teacher father, his mother, and his older brother, all at the family's home. This is
In 2006, Trey Sessler began uploading videos on his YouTube channel, LensCap Productions, where he posts short skits and anime reviews on the popular series at the time, eventually changing his name to Mr. Anime. Slowly but surely he gained popularity, and around 2011 gaining over 1 million views, which around that time was very impressive. However, over time his videos would become much darker in tone, and to spice up his video content, he will post skits and reviews of different firearms he owned, even ranting about gun violence in his own videos. There were multiple warning signs throughout his time on YouTube, but no one would have imagined what he would do in 2012. On March 20th, 2012, Mr. Anime lured his mother into the garage and shot her 4 times with a shotgun. He walked back inside and found his brother and shot him point blank. The gunshot woke up his father, where then he shot him as well. After the shooting, he loaded his car with a rifle and over 100 rounds of ammunition, planning on shooting up his old high school. However, before he did, he drove to his friend's house while the police checked his home and found his parents' body at 1 p.m. An arrest warrant was issued for him at 9:30 p.m. and he was arrested at his friend's house. Mr. Anime confessed that he killed his family so they wouldn't be ashamed of him perpetrating a school shooting, but backed out as it all became too real. Mr. Anime was sentenced to life imprisonment, and as of 2025, he is incarcerated at Texas prison. The anime community was shocked and disturbed by Mr. Anime's arrest. Many fans were in denial for a while, and some made excuses like he was framed or he was covering for someone else. As for other anime YouTubers at the time, many of them made videos on the situation, while people he interacted with before quickly deleted their videos or forums, and for a while he was seen as taboo. His channel was terminated, but in 2024 it all came back. However, his final video, Mr. Anime is Planning Something, was taken down by YouTube. Mr. Anime was one of the pioneers of the early anime YouTube community, and even years later most of the anime YouTubers that we watch now were indirectly influenced by him. Mr. Anime remains as the darkest moment in anime YouTube history, as his content serves as a grim reminder of how quickly things can easily spiral.
Investigations underway in Japan into why more than 600 children suffered from convulsions and vomiting.
Kind of a Japanese-style comic book that is very dark.
Found AI could replace 300 million full-time jobs.
On January 31st, 2023, Netflix released a short sci-fi film titled The Dog and the Boy. The story follows a young boy who discovers a robot dog in the forest. The two form a deep bond, spending their days playing and fishing together. As the boy grows up, war breaks out, and he is forced to evacuate the city, leaving the dog behind. The dog waits endlessly for his return until one day, ships carrying men in hazmat suits arrive. Hoping to reunite with his friend, the dog approaches, only to be kicked aside into a pile of rubble. When he wakes up, decades have passed, and the boy, now an old man, has finally found him. The film ends with the two embracing once again. However, when The Dog and the Boy was released, the story itself wasn't what people were talking about. Instead, all eyes were on a tweet from Netflix's Japan's official X account. As an experimental effort to help the anime industry, which has a labor shortage, we used image generational technology for the background images of all 3-minute video cuts. This announcement sparked massive backlash. At the time, AI-generated art was already a growing concern among artists, with fears over copyright violations, job displacement, and ethical use. Many accused Netflix of using AI as a cost-cutting measure to avoid paying artists. The project involved 3 animation studios, with studios known for Attack on Titan and Spy X Family, Netflix anime creator base, and Rena, an AI art studio that used Microsoft's chat box of the same name. Rena's monthly subscription varied based on usage, ranging from free to $500 for a standard plan. Netflix lightly used the enterprise software, which cost anywhere from $600 to $5,000 per month. Animator salaries in Japan are very difficult to determine since pay varies based on experience, location, and employer. However, one of the biggest issues in the Japanese animation industry is its notorious grueling working conditions and its infamous very low pay rate. Overwork and low wages are widespread, contributing to Japan's declining birth rate and very high suicide rates. Netflix has publicly acknowledged these concerns, claiming that they aim to improve the industry standards. Unlike traditional studios that pay per frame, Netflix operates on flat-rate contracts and has stated that they offer animators twice the industry standard. However, this claim was challenged by a veteran animator, Ichi, in the same year. Ichi alleged that a Netflix producer offered MAPPA 3,800 yen, or 34 USD, per cut of the anime Yasuke, while the industry standard ranges from 4,000 to 7,000 yen. If MAPPA had accepted the offer, individual animators would have earned even less than the $34. Ichi argued that a fair rate should be closer to 15,000 yen or $134 per cut, a stark contrast to what Netflix proposed. I've covered the MAPPA and Netflix controversies in another video. If you would like to see it, the link will be in the description below. But this situation highlights the double-edged sword of AI in anime. On one hand, it has the potential to reduce workload and lower stress for animators, but on the other hand, it could lead to lower wages, fewer jobs, and an over-reliance on artificial intelligence, ultimately stripping artists of opportunities. With AI now affecting not just anime but the global industry, it's becoming very hard to ignore the pressing ethical and economic concerns at hand. In December 2024, Shonen Jump Plus released a new series called Drama Queen. Within its first 7 days, the series gained an unprecedented number of views, making it the most popular title on the mangaplus app. However, the reason for its popularity isn't what you might expect. Drama Queen is set in Japan 9 years after aliens saved Earth from total annihilation. Following their heroic act, over 17 million aliens moved in and began coexisting peacefully with humans. However, the main character, Nomamoto, harbors a deep hatred for aliens, believing them to be arrogant and condescending towards humans. She soon meets Kitami, a man who shares similar resentment, as aliens were responsible for his family's death. The two quickly bonded over their mutual hatred. One day they accidentally killed an alien, and by the end of the first chapter, they cook it up and eat it. The rest of the series follows them as they continue hunting and consuming aliens in an effort to rid the city of them for good. Many readers have interpreted the aliens in the story as symbolic of immigrants or foreigners, accusing the series of promoting racism and xenophobia. This sentiment is especially apparent in the first few pages, where Nomamoto angrily complains about aliens despite them doing nothing to her. Later chapters only add to the controversy, as Nomamoto resents her alien neighbors simply for just existing, while Kitami murders aliens who were just merely walking down the street. Though they eventually begin targeting aliens who commit crimes, not every alien in this series is portrayed as evil. Some readers argue that the others are reading too much into it, and that the character's hatred towards aliens serves purposely as a plot device. Supporters of the series also point to Japan's strict immigration policies. Historically, Japan has enforced a no unskilled immigration law, preventing foreigners from securing jobs unless they possess specialized skills. While the government eased these restrictions slightly in 2024, the changes were minimum. Additionally, Japan has been pushing back against over-tourism, particularly in response to YouTubers and in-real-life streamers who have been publicly disrespecting the country's traditions and customs. The mangaka has yet to make an official statement regarding the controversy, but it remains a hotly debated topic that is unlikely to fade away anytime soon. Please Tell Me Gaiko-chan is a slice-of-life ecchi manga and anime series centered around 3 high school girls with wildly different personalities who, despite their differences, form an unlikely friendship. Together they dive into casual conversations about everyday life and occasionally ask questions about the female body. On the surface, the series itself isn't particularly noteworthy, but it takes a much darker turn when you examine the personal life of its creator, Kenya Suzuki. On December 20th, 2021, Suzuki was arrested on suspicion of importing illegal underage content from Germany. By March 2022, the Nagoya District Court found them guilty of purchasing magazines published by a German nudist organization that featured explicit images of minors. Additionally, he was caught in possession of similar materials obtained through a Japanese auction. Suzuki claimed that these purchases were made legally at the time of transaction, though the content had since been banned. However, records show that he acquired them between 2020 and 2021 during a period where Japan had not yet altered its laws regarding possession of such material. As a result, persecutors secured a sentence of 1 year and 2 months in prison. But the judge suspended it for 3 years, meaning Suzuki would avoid serving time unless he re-offended within that period. Following his arrest, Please Tell Me Gaiko-chan was immediately suspended from Comic Walker magazine. Suzuki addressed the situation on his X account, and despite the controversy, he has since resumed working on manga. And as of 2025, his suspended sentence has now been fully cleared. Suzuki's case is a part of a larger trend involving manga creators facing minimum legal consequences for very serious offenses. Other examples in the past decade include Reunion Kenshin creator Nobuhiro Watsuki and Act Age writer Tatsuya Mitsuki, both of whom were caught in possessions of illegal materials or engaged in inappropriate behavior with minors. These cases continue to fuel ongoing debates about Japan's handling of underage exploitation laws and age of consent regulations. While legal reforms have been very slow, recent political discussions suggest a growing push for stricter laws, not just on possession but also regarding manga and anime content. As Japan deals with these issues, the lenient consequences for offenders in the manga and anime industry highlight the need for stronger enforcement and legal reforms. It may be very slow, and we see that there's actual progress being made, including the law that increased the age of consent from 13 to 16. It is still not enough, but it is evolving and is shifting towards a stricter protection against exploitation towards minors. In 2023, a TikToker by the name of BlackedTheAnime began promoting his self-proclaimed brain rot anime, OhioTheAnime. The first episode was heavily advertised for featuring relevant memes of the time, as well as the now controversial internet personalities EDP445 and Nova Online as voice actors. Despite the hype, when the episode finally dropped on July 29th, it attracted very little attention. Like the memes it relied on, the series quickly faded into obscurity. The very next day, BlackedTheAnime even released an apology video, seemingly marking the end of the project. That was until August 8th, 2023, when BlackedTheAnime made a shocking announcement. He had only 100 days left to live, and he planned to document how he spent his final days and tracking the remaining money he had left. For the first few days, he remained vague about the cause of his impending death. However, on day 90, he revealed that he had been feeling incredibly sick and had started taking medication. As the days passed, he shared footage of himself in the hospital, his skin appearing paler, eventually revealing that he was suffering from a pancreatic disease. On his final day, he posted updates of his last hours, with his final TikTok amassing 6 million views. After that, his account stopped posting, leading to many believe that he had officially passed away. However, something about his death seemed suspicious. On August 7th, his birthday, he premiered the first episode of his new anime, BlackedTheAnime. The very next day, he began posting about only having 100 days to live. Then, just 5 days before his supposed death, he had heavily promoted his Discord server. Upon joining, users were presented with paid subscription options. For $10 a month, they could voice act in his anime, and for $30 a month, they could even appear in it. Not only were these subscriptions blatant scams, but why would someone who had only 5 days left to live be focused on making money for a project that he would supposedly never finish? Unless, of course, he wasn't actually dying. YouTuber DJ Cook later exposed BlackedTheAnime in a detailed video highlighting his history of scamming. One major revelation was that BlackedTheAnime had been reusing the same hospital footage across multiple days, posting identical clips on days 70, 46, 44, and 20. He even went as far as exposing the exact same TikTok for both days 87 and day 2. And if that wasn't damning enough, his own fans exposed them in the comments, revealing that he had been doing the 100 days to live stunt every year only to delete the videos and restart the cycle. The only reason he stopped in 2023 was that he finally blew up. Now, 2 years later, in 2025, his TikTok account remains inactive. However, on his YouTube channel, 6 new shorts have been uploaded, featuring BlackedTheAnime wearing a bleach mask, claiming to be his best friend who inherited his channel, Lamborghini, and wealth. It's clearly the same person, and if more proof is needed, his latest short features him awkwardly trying to fake his voice despite sounding exactly the same in previous videos. In the end, BlackedTheAnime faked his own death, not just to gain sympathy but to scam his fans out of their money and promote his outdated, offensive anime series. Many people have had friends or family members who had suffered from or even died of cancer, making his actions not only horrendous but also highly unethical and potentially illegal. Hopefully, one day he faces the consequences of his deception.